Hello. Good afternoon. This is Rahmaan, author and founder of the Child. And lately I've been talking about the fatherless hustle, getting into that more. And you'll see why. If you're seeing my post, you understand why. I hope everybody's doing well today. If you're coming over from Facebook or if your notice came on, I'm a little late coming on, so my apologies for that. But welcome. One of the most talked about videos I've made, the most viewed, and one of the most popular questions that I get asked about child support being a voluntary program. And I said, I'm gonna do a video about this again, and I'm gonna break it down more than I have in the past, just especially in light of Roe v. Wade being overturned on the federal level, just so um, people who are men and women that are about to become parents know what the government is not going to tell you about this child support system. And like parents that are already in the system, this may not apply to you. I know a lot of people, especially on my Facebook page, say, well, how do I unvolunteer, or how do I not sign up for it? Well, 9 times out of 10, if you've been in the system for 5 or 10 years, they've already, you've already they've already got you, because you didn't know what was going on. Like I didn't know what was going on. Like probably the majority of the country didn't know what was going on at the time when welfare reform and the child support system, when all that happened back under Clinton, with along with bipartisan support, they didn't inform everybody what was going on and what that whole I want to say merger meant to the parents. So that's what I'm gonna go over, and I'm gonna talk about specific voluntary and mandatory parts of that act, the Social Security Act, and that bill that was passed under Clinton. So I'm gonna get right into it. So it's kind of a lot of information. I could have had more examples, but I didn't, because it's just a lot. But I'm just going to do it right now. It's more outlined in my book, The Child Support Hustle. But I'm just going to give y'all like a little snapshot. So to begin, you hear me and others talk about the Title 4D program when they talk about child support. That's key. Title 4D is a part of the Social Security Act. In section 45142 USC 651, it says, according to the Social Security Administration, it states that for the purposes of enforcing the child support, enforcing the support obligations owed by non-custodial parents to their children and the spouse or former spouse with whom such children are living, locating non-custodial parents, establishing paternity, obtaining child and spousal support, and assuring that assistance in obtaining support will be available under this part to all children, whether or not eligible for assistance under state program funded under Part A, for whom such assistance is requested. So that Part A of the Social Security Act refers to the block grants to states for temporary assistance for needy families, or TANF, which is welfare. The program is eligible to all children. It's not just children who receive state-funded assistance from safety net programs such as TANF or Medicaid. So the child support program is available for everybody, but TANF, just like TANF, but you have to meet certain qualifications. So when applying for these safety net programs, the guidelines are specific when it applies to child support participation. Custodial families receiving benefits must And this is according to Section 40842 USC 608A2. And of course, all the links that I'm talking about are in the description. So according to this section, if an individual is not cooperating with the state in establishing paternity or in establishing, modifying, or enforcing a support order with respect to a child or of the individual, and the individual does not qualify for any good cause or other exceptions established by the state pursuant to Section 45429, the state shall deduct from the assistance on amount equal to not less than 25% of the amount of the assistance, and may deny the family any assistance under the state program. So as you can see, there's specific regulations in that act, the Social Security Act, that a parent that's applying for those benefits must adhere to in order to receive those benefits. Failure to comply with those rules, which includes specifically cooperating with child support enforcement, will result in termination of the welfare benefits. That's for the parent. The children will still be able to qualify, but the parents can't. So you always have to remember, which people are very, they don't like to admit this or don't like to accept. The child support program is a welfare recovery program. That's what it was designed for. That's what it is. They want to recover welfare money that is paid to low income and poor families. It's not a loan, it's a grant. So they're going after the non-custodial parent on what they say to repay this grant. That's not a loan. That's a whole other video. So I'm just breaking down how this is voluntary if you don't receive welfare. So the provision was one of several provisions included under the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996. One provision was promoting responsibility, which, according to the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Planning and Evaluation back in 96, they explained that the new law included child support enforcement measures, which they described as, quote, the most sweeping crackdown on non-paying parents in history, end quote. And we know after over 2 decades of this welfare reform, child support cooperation mandate has been way more than sweeping. They've been the crackdown, they've been sweeping crackdown. They've ruined people's lives. They've ruined parents' lives, children's lives. I mean, they just they did a sweeping, crushing. I don't even know they just crushed so many people because they went after low income mothers and fathers. That was their target market, I should say. So they left hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of unsuspecting parents and children just devastated by this system. The office went on to explain that under the new law, each state must operate a child support enforcement program meeting federal requirements in order to be eligible for those TANF block grants. So you hear the word mandate, require, the states are required. The recipient that's receiving these grants, they're required, they're mandated. So you got cooperation, punishments, failure to comply, all these different words that are in this Social Security Act. In the statutes within the Social Security Act of the office operating under the Health and Human Services Department, and they run all the welfare departments, the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, they don't mention divorcing parents or parents who do not receive welfare. Those parents, because they're excluded, these don't, and that's the voluntary part. They're not anywhere in these required specifications because they're not required. These mandates are only for people that receive welfare. So I'm going to take I found a training manual that some people they use out of the federal government. I got this off their website, and this is an instruction manual that they send or they advise different organizations like your urban leagues, your different organizations that have fatherhood programs and things like that. This is the training manual that they use to instruct fathers on numerous fatherhood topics. And one of the sections is how the process works when there's a child support case involved, right? So they say that paternity should be established before a child support order, before they can, before they can get a child support order against you. Paternity has to be established. So we know, sadly, well, a lot of us know that that's not the case in a lot of child support orders. There's dads by default, paternity fraud, just there's different ways, and I wrote about it. I was going to go into it, but I don't want to get off track. I did write about there's different ways to establish paternity, and there's also different ways to rescind paternity, but there's timelines in that, so you can go and read that. So according to, and this is the Responsible Fatherhood Curriculum, and this was prepared by Eileen Hayes along with Kay Sherwood, and they were from the MDRC. So under federal law, paternity can be established until a child is 18. A paternity complaint can be filed by either the other parent, the child support agency, or the welfare agency. Now, keep in mind, the child support agency and the welfare agency are one and the same when welfare is involved. The child support agency is a different entity when welfare is not involved. Paternity can be established in different ways. Like I said, I wrote that article. After paternity is established, whoever initiated the process is going to attempt to legally establish a child support order. That's the big difference. They have to get an order through the court unless you consent or agree to just have an order and pay child support. When you agree, all this goes out the window. This does not apply to you. When you don't agree, or you say, I can take care of which is my point, I can take care of my children outside of a court order. This is where, what I'm about to say, this is when this comes in. Because mysteriously in this training manual that they are telling these instructors to tell these fathers, and these young fathers out here, they don't tell them about being served the child support complaint, their rights, they can go to court, none of that. They just go straight to setting the order. When they set the amount for the order, they don't tell them about their rights or anything. It just goes straight to the amount. So they don't want fathers to know that they can go to court, defend themselves if they take care of their children already, and walk out without being on child support if they're already taking care of their children. And some will argue even if they're not, because they don't have jurisdiction. I'm not one to say that, because I will never advocate for not taking care of your children. That's not my thing. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just saying you can take care of your children without going through the government, because the government does not care about these children. They rob these children of their money, then they rob the parents of their money, their lives, their freedom, everything. So if you can do it without going through the government, do it. So the biggest difference between the mandatory involvement with the child support program, as with the TANF cases, and the non-mandatory involvement is real simple. Mandatory programs, besides what I went over, mandatory programs don't advertise and try to recruit customers to participate in their programs. and apply for their services. They don't have to. Just like when you go in and apply for, like, I'm using myself for example, when they started this, the welfare reform, when I went in there, if I wanted or needed those benefits, I had to, they sold it like enroll in child support program, you get an additional $50. So there was an incentive. But nowadays, if you go in there, they say if you don't sue for child support, you can't get these benefits. Just like I went over the Social Security Act, they don't have to incentivize you to apply for those benefits when you are volunteer and they want you to come in because they need people to come in to take advantage of their services. They're offering their services to you. They advertise to you. And that's what child support has been doing for the last couple of years, because their numbers are down, their cases are down. They need more victims. I'm sorry, more parents. So before I describe some of the ads that they've been in recruitment tactics that they have been using, I want to read two important statements. So the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, or CBP, they wrote this, and this is a quote: participation of custodial households that have never received TANF had risen substantially, about 19% between 2003 and 2017. This indicates that changes in the child support program over the period have attracted more voluntary cases, those in which parents are not compelled but rather elect to take advantage of child support services, end quote. The second statement is from a publication written by the former commissioner of the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, Vicki Teresky, and Susan Notar, Notar. And this article or journal is entitled Models for Safe Child Support Enforcement. Quote: custodial and non-custodial parents who do not receive TANF may apply for or withdraw from child support services on a voluntary basis. Although voluntary participants in this child support program, non-TANF families may have little opportunity to speak to child support workers, little information about how the child support process works, and no information about their options to request address confidentiality or special case landing, end quote. So they're telling you right there, you don't have to, but they're not going to advertise that part because they need people to participate in this program. So then they make it, they sell it to the public like you have to apply. And that's what they've been doing. And that's what the pushback is when, I make a video or I post something that says this is voluntary, and everybody, not everybody, I'll take that back, but so many people say that's not true. And, and I'm like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Just because the government says it doesn't make it true. That it just doesn't make it true. Just anybody can say anything. That's why, and please don't take my word for this. Do your own research. But think of this. If they tried to mandate everybody that they have to be in this program, then you have to think of rich people, celebrities, for instance. Everybody would be on child support. You take your Nick Cannons, they are dying to, if you look at the articles, they want Nick Cannon on child support so bad, he's not. You look at, pick somebody. Ludacris, these are people, because I remember their articles. The lady wanted Ludacris to pay some ludicrous amount of money. He took her to court and he won custody of that little girl. I don't know if he put her on child support. I doubt it, but he's not on child support. They can't mandate people that are not on welfare to participate in that program. They can't. Okay, so let me see. So there's been a drastic decline in these in the non-welfare cases. I'm sorry, I lost my track. Because the enrollment cases for welfare have drastically declined and their non-welfare cases do not require child support participation, the government has started advertising and trying to recruit parents to the child support program. So as I was doing research for this, I didn't put it in here, but they are like, putting ads at gas stations, on the pumps. In California, it has been advertising for probably 3 years now to get parents out there to come and apply. If you mandate it, you don't have to do that. The federal government has been spending significant money that's supposed to be, now they're supposed to spend this money on the children that's already in the program, but they don't pass through that money to the kids. They keep it. And they've been spending this money on digital marketing projects. These projects are 2-year projects, which according to the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement must conduct at least 3 digital marketing interventions. The feds give the following as examples of interventions that will be used to recruit new parents. Social media campaigns. Have y'all noticed social media, see child support come up, come call us, we can help you with your child support case. They place digital advertisements and they initiate 2-way communication with parents using text messaging and live chats. They monitor these hospitals to see when babies are born, who's a new parent. They do all that. Mandatory programs do not need to initiate tools like this to draw people into their doors. The feds tell their employees that these projects will, quote, further child support objectives by making parents aware of how child support services may benefit their families, end quote. The child support program has been so damaging to so many families. Wait a minute, hold on, y'all. No, hold on. Has been so damaging to so many families that they have to try to convince people that don't receive welfare to come in and apply for their program. And they charge them $35 just to get the payment to go through their system and be distributed, and they'll charge them. And that's just so they can, hold on guys, let me see what this is. Hold on, hold on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm probably have to take that out. If you are in the chat and I don't look at the comments normally, but somebody's in there, you're gonna have to hold on. I do the look at the chats and answer questions at the end of my video. If you can't wait that long, then I don't know what to tell you. So in 2018, according to Michelle Jadczak, the feds awarded $2.2 million to 14 grantees for the using digital marketing to increase participation in the child support program. Michigan is one of the states that received $2.2 million for marketing grants. And y'all know Michigan, friend of the court, their whole child support system, I've said it over and over, is trash. Michigan's child support system is fucking trash. So now they want more people to come in here and apply for their, if you're in Michigan and you see one of these advertisements, run. The Listen Project, short for Learn, Innovate, Improve Strategies for Technology and Engagement. They will develop marketing interventions for parents not currently served by the child support program. Objectives include increasing the number of new child support cases that are not the result of public assistance referrals by 5%. They want 5% new victims, and to increase and improve customer engagement with Michigan's child support program. Man, they initiated interesting strategies to get parents to enroll in the child support program. According to the state's final summary, listen to who they targeted. Now pay attention, because this is directly intertwined with the overturning of Roe v. Wade. They targeted, and this is Michigan, low-income, unmarried women between 18 and 44 with children. That's who they want, so they can therefore put them on the system. Of course, they're going to need some type of benefits, so they coach them into signing up for welfare. What do they have to do when they sign up for welfare? They have to sue for child support. So now you got the non-custodial parent, who's probably low income as well, being sued for child support. So then the cycle continues. They target people. The need was because there was changes to the TANF eligibility requirements, which meant that many families in Michigan were no longer referred to the child support program. The reason why they weren't is because when this reform happened, there were time limits put on parents or people that were enrolled in the TANF program to how long they could receive these benefits. The lifetime limit was 5 years. So the changes is those people can't get those benefits. They need new victims. So they use mobile ads, Facebook ads, Google paid search to reach the target market. They use 3 different message strategies, which focused on happy families, all the families looking happy, dealing with Michigan, helpful services. Everybody I know that has tried to deal with Michigan front of the court they are not helpful. Y'all need to stop lying in y'all advertisement, Michigan. And value and services, trash. The whole thing, just throw the whole thing away. I'm dealing with a veteran right now. Hi, Brandon. And he's a disabled veteran. They don't want to, they just ignoring everything. They're treating him like he's not even a person. And they're trying to get more people enrolled in this program because other than that, nobody would and nobody should. The child support agencies have enjoyed hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars since at least the mid 2000s, off of the backs of parents and children. And now they need more people. Non-welfare parents are not required to participate because the state would have to prove that they do not provide for their children. Additionally, the premise is that the reason that the custodial parents, mainly mothers, need to go on welfare in the first place is because fathers abandon their families. Therein lies the myth of the welfare queen and the absent father. That's where all that comes from. And they're usually who? Black people. If you provide for your child or children already, you have a right to defend yourself against the allegations that you have abandoned or deserted your children and you don't provide for them. That's what that whole thing is. If you're not on welfare, they are accusing you of not providing. And if you're already doing that, why are they suing you? And I just broke it down to you that 2 reputable, one person was the former commissioner, and she's like been working with child support for, I know, the last, I'm just gonna say 30 years. Like, she tied in there. Vicky Tereski, look her up. She even wrote that it's voluntary. They put this stuff so deep in it's just all deep in their websites and their books and their journals and their articles and all this kind of stuff. And then even now, when I wrote about 2-3 years ago, I go back to look and the page is not found. They take the shit down because the hustle has been exposed. And so for my for the parents or people that say no it's not, or trying to debate me about this, all I have to say is, with any hustle, the hustler is not going to tell you how they're hustling you. It takes somebody or people to go and be like, oh, this, they robbing you. Somebody can tell you, I don't have anything to, I don't charge people, and I never did when I was working on complaints or anything like that. Helping people with their cases, I did it because I believe in justice. That's why I wrote my book, because I had to dig through years of information to find out this. So that was another breakdown. Let me see. As I said, and if they send something to your house from the Title 4D, the child support office or anything like that, and you didn't go down there and do any correspondence with them or anything like that, you don't have to talk to them. You don't, if you're the non-custodial parent, you didn't go down there and apply for benefits. You don't owe them anything. So don't, just because they say that you have to do anything does not mean that you have to do it. Just please research, please know your rights, and don't sign shit from them. And don't, if they try to threaten you or intimidate you and say, if you don't sign this, you're going to jail. I've heard that plenty of times, and without a child support case. So there's nothing even there's no judgment or anything. And these caseworkers are threatening and intimidating these men, these fathers, to sign. You better sign or we're going to come after you and all this kind of stuff. They can't. If there's no judgment, no court order, and you didn't agree, they can't do anything to you. And you can file a complaint against them, and I recommend that you do. If your rights are violated, then go higher. You are a citizen and you have rights. Don't let them do to you what they've done to so many of us in this child support system. Like I always say, how I got involved, like my children are adults now. So I'm really talking to the younger generation, the kids coming up now, the adults. I call y'all kids, because the young parents coming up. Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared by the system. You don't have to do anything with them. And like I said, I put the links to what I'm talking about in the description. You can go and check out my website. I've written about the system extensively. My website is thechildsupporthustle.com. If you're interested in getting my book, that's available on my website, also on my Facebook page. You can get it from there. If you need to ask me any questions, or like I said, I don't work on individual cases anymore, but if I can point you in the right direction, it'll be my pleasure. Don't, if you in Michigan and you see one of these ads at the pump, or they send you a text message, you tell them to get the fuck off your line. You don't want nothing to do with them. And try to work it out with your baby's mom or your baby's dad. Y'all don't go to the front of the court. And there's a ton other, Franklin County, Ohio, there's so many. But I know I've met so many people out of Michigan. Like, Michigan is trash. Mississippi, trash. Florida, I'll be here all day. I'll name all of them. But y'all get the gist. But Michigan is like one of my, people ask me what states have the worst child support systems. Michigan is my top. Then would be Ohio. Used to be Ohio because that was where my case was out of. But Michigan, the fact, when I read this and saw that they were advertising to get people up in their system, I said, the nerve the nerve, just like the nerve of the Mississippi Attorney General fighting to overturn Roe, and they treat their kids like they don't, the nerve. So let me go to the comments. I'm sorry I stopped and went to the comments earlier. Like I said, if y'all have a comment or y'all want to ask me a question, please hold off until the end of my, I don't know what you call whatever I'm talking about, because I get sidetracked, and it's rude to the people that's listening for me to just stop and whatever and answer your question. So, my email is cshustle1@gmail.com. Hello, Donald Jackson. I don't know if you're still here, but hello. It's all linked to the Social Security number. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you have to sign anything. Eric. Shit, risky. Everybody probably tired of paying child support. That's right. You can provide for them outside of a court order. And I would go as far as to say, if this is a Title 4D case and you weren't aware of what you were signing when you signed it, or if you got, especially if you have a default judgment, go. Okay, let me break that down. If you have a default judgment and you weren't served properly, excuse me, go and get the original process server, the receipt, to see how they claim that they served you. If that service is not valid, if they forge your signature, if it says unclaimed, if it says returned, if it says no service, the whole child support case is not valid. It's not valid. They have to serve you. I have a video on here. I'll put it in the description, and I'll go through it thoroughly about that proof of service. That is critical. Hey, TM, thank you. Yes, the book, it's in my book, definitely. I have a problem with authority too. But I done mellowed out over the years. Somehow I get humble over these years when life happens. Yeah, but Eric, yeah, they don't think they do because they don't think that men know. And back, like I said, 10, 15, even now, men don't know. But now there's more people talking about Title 4D and rights and men's rights and fathers' rights and these civil procedures. So yeah, they gotta, go and try to get new recruits. They got to get people in that system, because really, if you don't have to, they're not going to get people to volunteer for that system. Why? Because they treat people like trash. So who's going to go to them voluntarily and say, could you manage my child support case? And here's one that people always say, well, you need to go to them to keep a record of your payments. No, you don't. You're grown. If you're paying your baby's mother, your baby's father, $500 a month, then don't give them cash. We have all these apps now, so you can CashApp. If you do it old fashioned, you can send them a check. In the memo, write child support. Have a ledger, have a notebook, write that, or on your phone. You can do all kinds of things. You take it to court, there it is. And say, well, they say it's a gift. It's only a gift if there's a child support order already in place. I did a video about that too. So if you want to go look, I wrote about it, and there's a video about that, about it being a gift. No, it's not, man. They're just know your rights. Now what? Greg Simmons. Hey, Rod, thank you. You're my favorite too. Say something about that. Can you see this? Greg Simmons, you are obnoxious, and bye to you. I wish I would have seen that while I was live. Bye. Let's see. Daniel, I don't work on individual cases anymore, but check out my website. You might be able to find, I'm sure you'll find the answer to your question. thechildsupporthustle.com. The tax refund offset program, DMV is trash. It's all trash. What is, I don't understand what you're saying, TM. Thank you, Knowledge. What is your, I don't know what you mean. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. It helped explain or help further explain why participation in the child support system, when there's no welfare involved, is voluntary. I'm going to do a video about how they've made the fathers or the non-custodial parents somehow responsible for repaying welfare benefits when it's not a loan. I did write about it, but I'm going to do a video about it just to explain, because I mean, people want to know, like, how do they make you pay that back? Much love, Tim. Well, yeah, people do care. They care when they're in jail. What is that? Sages. It's a grant. So yeah. So if you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. If you like what I'm talking about, while you're here, click the like button. Share with your friends, your family. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. And I'll see y'all next time. And yeah, thanks for joining me, you guys. I hope this was helpful. Much love. Fight the power.